there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. Jeez. Right, we have got Jordan Henderson, we have got Fabinho, we've got both of these. I ain't putting the two fingers up to you. We've got both of these people that we need to talk about and discuss as updates have arisen. Now, where did we leave off on the update? So, Jordan Henderson accepted 700k a week from Al Ittihad. Fabinho, we was awaiting a 40 million bid from Al Ittihad. The second we receive that bid, we'll probably accept it, and then it's for personal terms to be agreed between Fabinho and Al Ittihad. Anyway, the update that we've got to is that it seems, based on today's information, Henderson is going on the pre-season tour. Fabinho is not going on the pre-season tour. There's two topics that I want to get into, two juicy ones that we sink our teeth into. One, should Jordan Henderson return as captain after we know he's already agreed to leave the club? Get your answer in now and then leave another comment at the end of the video. And then we're going to talk about Fabinho pretty much being set to leave. Now, all that needs to be done is the personal terms, and if this is going to happen, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Wow, so many interesting things. So anyway, with Henderson, there was a debate that was arisen on the stream last night. Both sides to the argument goes as such. Jordan Henderson should come back as captain because who wouldn't turn down 700k a week? You'd be stupid to turn down that money, and I don't even take it personally. He can go to Al Ittihad even if he wanted to. He was getting paid a lot of money. He can come back as my captain. But then you'll get other people on another side and say, well, actually, there's a bit of an issue that I've got here, because if Jurgen Klopp is going to hold himself to the same parameters, then what should happen here is what happened with Coutinho. Even though he was happy to stay, he caused up a bit of a fuss, and the second he agreed to go is the second Jurgen Klopp said, you're not coming back. The second Chan agreed to go is the second we said, you're not coming back. There's many other examples in previous time as well, to where you can sit there and say, the player who agreed to leave, the player who wanted to go, Steven Gerrard, it didn't sit too well with the fans. So when Steven Gerrard agreed to go to Chelsea, there was a whole uproar and stuff like this. Now, thankfully, Steven Gerrard was one of our best players. Therefore, when he agreed to stay, it wasn't necessarily a case of, okay, now I'm going to stay and this. It was easy to warm to Steven Gerrard because you knew he was going to keep scoring us goals and keep winning us games, etc. So they're the two sides of the argument. I am leaning towards the second one. I don't really see the side of, Henderson coming back as captain. Oh, don't worry, nothing's wrong because he's already agreed to money. Because let's analyse it this way. If Henderson believes he's still good enough, which is he must do because he's already kicked up a fuss about wanting to play first team football and he doesn't want to fall too far behind in the pecking order. But if he believes he's still good enough and yet he's still willing to leave us after pretty much getting us Europa League, that's an issue for me, because if you're still good enough yet in the next sentence you're not willing to drag the club back to success, isn't that a concern? Isn't that a bit of a worry? And weren't we upset with Steven Gerrard over the very same parameters? So if we're going to hold Jordan Henderson to the same parameters, yes, it's to Al Ittihad, so it's not a direct rival. But if Henderson is one of our best players, which you'd like to think he should think he is, and if he doesn't, then he shouldn't be here, then what that means is he was willing to leave our football club money over getting us back. Therefore, the money was in higher contention and was in a higher priority than getting Liverpool back to the top, which is fine. If you watch my videos, you'll know I was on the front line for wanting Henderson to go. I was on the front line for wanting him to get money that he's never going to get offered again in his life. And that's why I love him more than you. I love him more than you because you sit there and say, oh no, we can't sell Henderson for money. We're forcing him out. He agreed to the deal before we agreed a fee. He didn't even wait. He was like, yep, I'll go, mate. I'll go. No rainbow laces, no rainbow armbands. He forgot about all that crap the second that money came in, which is fine. You can forget about us if you wish. But I just think it's very, very interesting. We get fifth last season. He had a predominant part in that. He then comes out at the beginning of this season, six packs all up and PR'd up to the brinks. And when he comes back, he says, I want to play first team football. But the second money comes in, that captain's armband, forgot about. The rainbow's armband, forgot about. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it doesn't really seem like what a captain should or would do. So it's a case of, unless, like Steven Gerrard, he can come back into the team and really grab the performances by the balls individually, then yes, I think he should get a captaincy. But as we all know, he's nowhere near as good as Gerrard. Even if you want to go prime Henderson and retiree Gerrard, they're not even close. They're not even close, therefore. That's why I'd say Gerrard had a chance to earn himself back into the team. Whereas Henderson, the second he agreed to go to Al Ittihad, was the second that now we need to really start looking at other options, because he wanted to go. The evidence is on the table that he wanted to go. And if you don't see it, if you see it any other way, because the only way I can see people twisting this is, James, but he got offered a lot of money, and he got offered to go to a place that's not a direct rival. And again, I've already refuted both of these points. Gerrard got offered a lot of money from Chelsea, and the difference was you didn't have an El Etifaki back then to actually get those big wages. Therefore, Chelsea was one of the biggest clubs he was going to go to, and yet he didn't go. But when he did agree to go, we was mortified with Steven Gerrard. The difference is he came back, he was world class, and that's why it was easy to rebuild that connection with the fans. Henderson, he's not world class, but fans will forget about it because of the PR that's going to be span on it. So I'm not trying to just have a go at Henderson for Henderson's sake. I hope you notice I gave you reference to times where we've been angry at players before, better players than Jordan Henderson before. I only asked, do we keep the same energy? Because I don't think we should persist with him as captain. I think it should be someone new. But anyway, let's talk about Fabinho. Fabinho is set to be going to Al Ittihad. £40 million was the bid that we was waiting for. And now that the Henderson deal's fallen through, I'm happy we can at least get this one over the line, because I do believe we need to keep Fabinho. We need to sell Fabinho and bring in somebody new. And these funds, if you ignore how important these £40 million are going to be to Liverpool's financial situation, then you're ignoring a very important part of the football club. And if you don't analyse the financial side of it, then yeah, you're being unrealistic. I think it was Hussam, shout out to Hussam, and he said, like, I'm not a tax man. It's like, yeah, I know, but if you now just sit there and say, right, I want Kimmich, I want Colwell, and he even said to me the other night he wanted Ramos, you need specific funds and wages to acquire these players. So when you're saying that in one sentence, but you're not going to get it in another. Like I said, as long as we're under FSG, there's a very specific player that we have to buy unless we can sell. And Fabinho was one of the most important players that we could sell. He's not getting any better physically. He's not getting any better mentally. I love Flacco. Flacco's amazing, and the chicken meme and all these things. He's fantastic. But go away, get big money, and then we get big money. We're never going to get off of 40 mil for Fabinho again. That would have been Henderson and Fabinho going for free, and you were the ones complaining in the summer about players going for free. And now all that's going to happen is Henderson stays, and he stays and retires. He is not necessarily adding to the squad depth, he's more adding false depth, because even when he plays, he doesn't do much. And Fabinho would do the same thing. He's more of a detriment than actually adding anything to the game. And that's why I'd sit here now and say I'm happy if both went. I really hope both do go. Fabinho less so than Henderson because he's younger, but Henderson needs to go as well, just because, again, I want him to get that big money. I also don't see, if he's already agreed before we agreed a fee, why he should get to come back and be captain. But if there's a point that I haven't refuted, or if I'm looking too much into it, I'm just trying to use how we've acted in the past with the likes of Steven Gerrard and whatnot. And yeah, I think it's one of those where I think people, if you're worried about leadership, then you're worried about change. And if you're worried about change, then, we're going to be stuck in the same place for a pretty damn long time. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, smash a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in a bit. Peace.